next question comes from a couple that spends a lot of time fighting, and they want to learn ways to reduce their fighting and stress in their relationship. Dear Rabbi Schonbuch, I've been watching your videos with great interest. And although you've given us a lot of techniques on how to communicate better, I'm still finding that we're fighting an awful lot. Is there anything we could do to reduce the stress in our home? Dear listener, you're asking a really important question, but I want to emphasize with you that the goal of marriage counseling is not necessarily all about communication. Communication is sometimes overused, but what's really important is often to focus on the emotions behind the person's words. So it's not just about what people are saying, it's about getting their inner feelings behind their words. I've seen over the years that many people fight about all types of things, the most silly things. Sometimes they fight about spending money, sometimes they fight about cleaning up after dinner, sometimes they fight about things like throwing out the garbage and cleaning up the dishes. And other times they can fight about the silliest things, like toothpaste, or where people leave their toothbrushes on their bathroom counters. But what I find to be very important, it's not often about the thing they're fighting about, it's about something much, much deeper. For example, let's say a couple is fighting about money, and a wife says the husband is miserly, and the husband says, my wife wants to spend too much money, and they're constantly fighting about money. And I've had couples like this over the years, and I try to talk to them about making a budget, about spending more wisely, about being kind to one another. But no matter what I say to them, no matter how I get them to communicate, they keep on fighting. And in these cases, I have to go much deeper. And in a case like this, I found that it's not about money they're fighting, it might be about their affection they share with one another. It could be that deep down inside, both the individuals are feeling that the other person is neglecting them emotionally. They're feeling alone, and because of this loneliness, they're feeling sad. Or perhaps their spouse is not present when they're home. Some people are so busy on their cell phones, so preoccupied with their work and their jobs, they kind of start neglecting the relationship that's so incredibly important to them. And therefore, I think it's very important for couples like this that are fighting for a long period of time, try to find out what are the things that are really stressing your spouse. And you can even play a little bit of a game together, write out a few questions. One question can be, what are the things that is stressing my spouse out most in their lives right now? Write out their stressors in work, stressors with family members, stressors with their children, or stressors with friends in their lives they may not be getting along with. It's very important to feel out what is a person truly experiencing, what are they deeply longing for in their life. Perhaps behind that fight over money is really a feeling of loneliness or sadness or something deeply bothering them in another area in life. And it's so important to realize this because so many times I watch couples fight because one person's just in a bad mood. And it's very easy to think that because they're in a bad mood, it's because of you. And sometimes you don't know how to communicate with them. They're like shut off from you. You can't reach out and get close to them. So you just start fighting about things like money when it's never actually really about money. So therefore, if you've tried a lot of communication techniques and try to work things out, but it's still not working, I want you to go a little bit deeper and try to explore some of the deeper emotions that are perhaps hiding behind some of the things you're fighting about. Maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's sadness, or perhaps in many cases it's fear motivating people's behaviors. The most important thing, therefore, to do is try to go out of the home with your spouse. Go take a walk. Bring them to an interesting environment which is peaceful and without stress, and just try to listen to what their feelings are. Try to glean from their words, is there something bothering them? If there's something bothering them, then start exploring those feelings with them. But be their friend. Don't try to criticize, don't try to control them. Try to hear what's really hurting you. There's a famous story of two people that were drinking. One fellow says to the other drunkard, he says, I love you so much. The other person says, you don't really love me. If you really love me, you'll tell me where I'm hurting. The same is true right here. To really love somebody is to know what's really truly bothering them inside. I'm suggesting, if possible, get out of the house, have a good time together, and then try to find out what's really bothering your spouse. And I hope your spouse reciprocates by trying to find out what's really bothering you. If you can get to that deeper level, I believe you'll see much more success in your relationship. Welcome to this new series on Hidabrut called Marriage Matters. My name is Rabbi Daniel Schonbuch, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist based in New York and around the world via Skype. On this important series, I will be answering your questions you have about marriage, relationships, dating, parenting, and about any issue dealing with family and relationships. But more than what I have to say, I want to hear what you have to say. So please email to this address and send in your questions, and I'll try to answer as many questions on this new show.